The first place, written the first state, hitting the first spray, splitting these first base, minions a curse day, missing the third day, risen the words they wishing they could be put in position. We run everything from the abs to the streets, just bask in the beats. These minuscule tags are only impacting at least. It's probably not an actual leash, we're just trying to react to the beast. Just the vandals advance with the heat, carrying the mantles in the breach, the man's hands moving advance to the reach.
Hey guys, welcome back. We are here with some exclusive content. Another episode of Sundays with the Clink Room. Today, we're joined by Heather. Heather, the green one. How are you?
Good, good. How are you doing?
Good. Excited to finally get you involved and in the lab to kind of talk to you about your life as a clinker now that your hat is finally landed.
Finally landed.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll get to talking about that and kind of your history as an artist and kind of what you've been through to finally get this made. So I've been a long fan of yours from far, you know, kind of admiring your work ethic and your perseverance. So to see you finally get one pushed through, really exciting for me. And yeah, I'd love to get to kind of know you a little bit better and kind of just share your story. So I guess first and foremost, who are you and what got you started with the clinker?
Okay, well, Heather on Instagram, I go by the green one. Green's my last name, so I kind of just went with that. The funny story about finding the Clink Room is at the time I was working for a casino out here in Vegas, doing a lot of like undercover stuff, and you have to blend in. And so I like wearing hats, and a lot of tourists wear hats. And so I was looking, but the work I was doing at the time, you have to actually arrest people. You know, I'm finding people who are stealing, fighting, cheating. And so you never know who you're interacting with. So I kind of wanted to steer away from any baseball caps, you know, with gang affiliations and whatnot. So I was like typing in unique hats. And at first I found Noble North, and they're pretty cool. And then I came across the Clink Room, and I was like, wait, what? You can design your stuff? That's awesome. You know, I hadn't heard of that before. And so I was like, okay, I can draw them, take a shot at this. And I came into it like a total noob. I had no idea what I was doing, and just kind of talking to the community evolved and decided to give it a shot and got one through, and hopefully I have some more coming.
That's awesome. What's your process like? Like, how do you design? What do you design on? What kind of tools do you use?
So I moved, and so everything I own is in storage.
Right.
It's in my MacBook. So I work on a MacBook Pro, and with that, I kind of sketch by hand on paper. Kind of, I don't know, like a lot of times it's TV inspires me. So I watch a lot of Ancient Aliens and like mystery shows, and awesome. I'll get an idea in my head and kind of just come up with it, research it a little, sketch something out, and then kind of bring it into Illustrator from there and bring it to life.
Yeah. How long does it take you to make one design from beginning to end usually?
Not too long, and that's probably like my downfall is I don't spend enough time on my craft. I have like ADHD, and so I'll get in the mood to like knock some out, and I've been slowing down, trying to like work on something. Like I just dropped a skunk one called Stink Bomb, and so that one at first the idea was to be crop dusters, like a fart joke, and I had them in a plane. But it was too cute. And so I was talking to Creature, and he's like, you know, let's try something different, like a hang glider. And parachutes and hang gliders are so hard to make on that limited canvas. And so then it evolved to him kind of like falling out of the sky, and he's like, it needs more. And so then I was like, okay, we were talking, going back and forth. He's like, well, what if the stink is like the shape of a bomb? And so that's how it kind of evolved from there. So I try to get feedback from my peers, try to see people who have been successful and learn from them and interact with them. And I think that's the best way you can grow as an artist is take criticism and don't be afraid to ask for help. Yeah.
I think that's one thing that's great about you. You don't ever really take anything personal. You know that it's not like a personal attack on you or your character, and you just kind of want to get better. I think like thinking back to some of your early ones, you would spam is not the correct term, but you know what I mean.
I had no idea what I was doing.
Yes, you put up like 8 at a time. I feel like, and
I was like, you know, that's where I've slowed down, fine-tuned my craft, and try to get better at it. So hopefully it shows.
Yeah, no, I mean, I see it. I think what you put out now, when it hits like at least the submission portion, is at least more polished and a little bit more thought out, rather than like, yo, you know, this is it.
Yeah,
and then,
I definitely had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, no, but it's cool. It's part of your growth as an artist, like you said, and you know, you're coming in completely new, and I like the enthusiasm. It hasn't really stopped you. So that level of perseverance is actually really cool to see from far, and I'm sure Casey and the team there appreciate it too. What sorts of challenges did you kind of encounter during your design process, and kind of what do you do to like kind of overcome that?
Well, I had never worked with Illustrator before. I'd always done like Procreate or Photoshop, but not having an iPad working. I don't even have a mouse, so everything's on the trackpad.
Yeah,
it was definitely a learning curve to like learn the tools and how to do stuff. And I kind of took a break for a little bit and just kind of was like, okay, what am I doing wrong? How can I get better? And so I went to YouTube and I watched a ton of videos on how to like not only use Illustrator, but one thing that I was watching videos on is digitizing, because I felt that once I could understand how embroidery was like translating the art, maybe that could help me a little more. I found that was probably one of the best things I did, was actually watch videos on digitizing and seeing how the stitches are laid and how the colors like align in the puff and whatnot. I think that probably helps a lot. And I think that's one thing like a lot of people kind of overlook is, you know, we're working on a flat surface, but ideally when you bring it to life, it should be puffed, or, you know, you want some 3D into it. So if you take the time to learn about digitizing, you can kind of learn a little bit better how to work your colors and your lines.
Yeah, I think like really understanding like how a space gets filled with thread and the direction and the style really is kind of what takes and keeps Clink Room kind of ahead of the curve, because they're essentially giving you like statues on your head.
Yeah, like that's one thing that I liked, is seeing that it wasn't just flat. It had like some 3D to it, and I think it really brings more character to your work.
Yeah. It's kind of I always picture like Casey as some like crazy character in the Matrix, seeing like a hat kind of break down and kind of like in the direction.
Yeah, he's got to have like 3D like perception when he sees a piece, because to bring it to life, that's not an easy task, you know, to figure out how it's going to be raised and still look good.
Yeah. What are some of your I know you mentioned TV, but like what are some other like themes that you kind of utilize in your work? Are you a sports fan at all? Do you get inspired by
I like sports. Yeah, I like sports. I'm a baseball person, so the Dodgers are my team.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But other than that, I kind of like the dark and weird stuff, like aliens, cryptids, a lot of ghosts. And then working with creatures so much, I kind of lean into like, okay, wordplay, puns, and stuff that'll make you laugh. So I'm pretty open, you know. Hands and human-like features are not my forte, so I kind of try to avoid them when and if possible. But the crowd seems to like it, so I'm trying to overcome that.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Like you can have like the coolest thing with the raddest story, and then if it doesn't do well and it's not visually appealing, so it's like you kind of have to walk that fine line on you know, like, you know, mass appeal plus, you know.
Yeah, you gotta, and especially like for me being female, I feel like I have two kind of setbacks because I'm colorblind, and so sometimes I think colors look well together, and then I'll show it to someone, they're like, no, and I'm like, oh, okay. But then the other thing is keeping in mind your audience. So it's majority male audience, so you don't want something that's too cute. Like I think, you know, you guys are open to cute, but it's a fine line. It has to be done the right way. And so, you know, you got to learn the audience. And that's one thing with the community, like being on the Discord, watching your show, watching the Monday guys, you learn what they're liking, and you kind of develop your skill in your art to kind of meet their needs, so to speak.
Right. That's so cool. Yeah, I see you really active in the Discord, and I believe you're in the Facebook group too, right? The
Yeah,
bicycle.
yeah.
Yeah,
Once in a while I'll post. I don't know. I'm kind of a private person, so I don't do too much Facebook, but I'll
right.
go in and see what's dropped and how
Yeah,
things are doing.
yeah, totally. It's one of those things where you gotta like take it with a grain of salt sometimes. Like it's really specific, and people get really particular about stuff, but sometimes it
Oh,
gets
super passionate.
too yeah, too
Yeah.
passionate. Or like right now they're dealing with the louse kind of
Hmm.
fallout and stuff like that. But like Clink doesn't control where the hats are made, so
Yeah, I
for
think
you to try to guess where they are in the future, it gets really kind of squirrely. Like, oh, I'm not going to pre-order because it might come from Laos. Like, that's not really
you
a
don't
thing.
know, and there's stuff
Yeah.
above their control, and I don't know. I think there's a lot of the consumers don't design, right? And
Mhm.
so I assume they don't have much business experience and probably have never worked with New Era. And so this
Yeah.
is a multi-billion-dollar corporation and they're outsourcing, they're using factories that can streamline production. And so I don't know. I mean, nothing's going to be perfect, but considering what they produce and the output and the involvement, I don't think it's bad at all, me
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah. It's a line, right? Like they should hold them to a high standard because of, the company that they've built and the brand name that they have. But at the same time, it's like, you got to cut them a little slack sometimes. But, it goes
Yeah,
hand in hand. I mean, people pay their money, so they can have an opinion and whatever. But yeah,
yeah.
it kind of goes both ways. But in terms of like artists, like are there any specific artists within the Clink Room that kind of influenced your style, or
Hmm.
kind of who you look up to?
Definitely Phil. I like
Yeah.
Phil a lot. I like that he's very cartoony. I'm
Mhm.
very good at cartoons. And so um, watching his work and talking to him, I've learned more about like the weight of the lines and
Yeah.
shows some depth and some thickness and shadowing. And so I think that's someone I would really like to work with in the future sometime. And I
Yeah.
like everything he puts out. And Josh, I like
Oh
Josh.
yeah.
He kind of does that like dark horror stuff. And so a
Yeah,
lot of
it's like
stuff is really
goofy
cool.
but still like edgy
Yeah.
and kind of not scary, but yeah, like kind of horror-ish, gory, but still
Yeah, it's
funny.
it's weird stuff, and I like the
Yeah.
weirdness, so it
Yeah.
works.
Cool. If you could like wave a magic wand and kind of resurrect something that didn't make it for you, like which of those could
Hmm.
you wish to kind of get another shot?
Um, I have like a creature design, like a swamp thing type thing on one of
Mhm.
these mounts,
Mhm.
but I did an albino version,
Right.
and so it's like yellow with red eyes. I'd really like to see that get a shot.
Mhm.
Just because it's colors you don't see, something you don't see a lot, and
Right.
the whole idea behind this was like, everyone goes hunting for like exotic animals. Well, what would be even better than an exotic animal being able to like be like, oh yeah, I caught Bigfoot, I mounted him, or
Yeah.
something pretty rare like that. So
Yeah. Let's talk.
it's
Let's talk about the hat that made it. So the hat you're wearing,
mhm.
um, it took a while. Let's not put a number on how many it took, but you got there. So
I got
congratulations.
there. Thank you.
Describe that feeling, like that feeling
Oh man,
of opening the box for the first time and seeing your creation on a hat.
it was like unreal. Like you work on it, you know that it's being made, but then to actually see it, you're like, wow, this is dope, and I made
Yeah.
this. I
Yeah.
designed this. Oh no, it's a really good feeling. It definitely keeps you motivated to try more and like for a couple of the guys that I've done collabs with and talked to in the community that they haven't got one yet, just keep trying. Talk to your peers, because it's worth it. Like the wait is
Yeah.
worth it too. When you pre-order a hat and then you get it, and you're like, oh yeah, this is totally worth the
Yeah.
wait
It gets addicting, right? Like just the
for
being
sure.
able to create.
It's
Um,
financially hard.
yeah, yeah. Oh, like once you get into it and start like seeing what other people do and start buying, yeah, it does definitely
Oh,
get financially hard. But it's cool. Like now you're a part of a club. There's only a couple,
hmm
maybe 100, maybe 200 artists that have ever worked with the Clink Room. I don't even know. I
yeah.
know there's like 1,000 designs for sure, but in terms of like
It's like
number,
a small core group. I think
yeah,
maybe like 20 of us who are submitting regularly, and
mm,
I don't know. It's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely a big number because I've probably been doing the show for like maybe 9 months, and I haven't repeated guests that often. You know, a couple of people came on multiple times, but for the most part, we've had a different person
Yep.
on, and it's cool, man. I'm just doing my lap and kind of giving everyone a shot to talk and kind of tell their story, because I think that Clink Room is really elite at storytelling for the hats, but I
Mhm.
think like where we could at least where I could help is like at least tell the story of the creators and kind of get
Yeah,
uh,
you bring
in
that
front of
community
everything.
feel closer together, and so it's
Yeah.
nice. Like, not only do we get to see the hats and talk about the pre-orders that are closing, but you actually get to learn about other people, your peers, and I don't know.
Hmm.
I think it's a really good thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I hope that everyone who kind of gets on um is just made a little bit more, just that little bit more available to someone else. Like,
Mhm.
hey, I saw you on the show, and and let me pick your brain about this or whatever. And I hope as a whole, um the artists and the clinkers can kind of work together, because at the end of the day, you're kind of in competition, but you're still part of the same club and kind of trying
Yeah.
to get the same thing. So it's an interesting dynamic, and for the most part, I think it stays pretty drama free.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
It's definitely drama free. Every once in a while, something's spit off, but it's no different like than your family. You may get
yeah,
an argument with your family, and then a couple of days pass and everything's fine. So.
exactly. All right. In terms of aspiring artists, like what would you tell them? Like what kind of advice could you give to someone who's like you mentioned earlier, like kind of yet to break through, or someone who's broken through but kind of going through a little bit of a rut? Like what can you tell them to keep motivated?
Um, Definitely talk to your peers. Reach out to people who have been successful.
Hmm.
Learn what they're doing different, and just
Yeah.
research. Like anything that you do, you may not be good at it right away, but if you research and take the time to put into it, you'll get
Yeah.
better. And so, I would say, definitely research, talk to your peers, and then, like I said, me personally, I found that watching digitizing videos helped me. So I think that more people should do that. Kind of see the process of how it comes to life, and that helps you with the foundation. So.
Yeah. Exactly. That's awesome. And again, I can't say it enough, man. Like I watched you from far. You've been a great supporter of my show, so I can't be
Oh, definitely.
more thankful for that. And to kind of see you not buckle. I've seen a couple times where you're wavering a little bit, you're having a bad day, and
Yeah.
everyone's due for that. I understand. Like
Hmm.
you're putting your work out there, and it's for people to judge or tear down and pick apart, and you kept at it. You could easily said, F this, I'm not doing this no more, or it's not worth
Sometimes,
it, and whatever.
sometimes I'm like, oh man, I'll never get through. It's not good enough. But then, at the end of the day, like, one reason why I don't take criticism hard is it's fun. It's a
Yeah,
pastime for me, and so
yeah,
if I can try to do something, I create something nice, then I had fun doing it, and then if it gets a shot at crits, that's all right. I'm improving. I'm doing better, so I
hmm
can continue to improve. And I don't know, failures happen. You got to
yeah,
learn to pick yourself up and keep on going.
yeah. What's that saying? A calm sea never made a skilled sailor. So
Right, right.
like now you're part of the club, and congratulations.
Yeah.
I wanted to wait a little longer to at least have your hat arrive, because I always knew I would, like, you're a cool person. I'd love to have you on the show, but I at least want to talk to you when you have something in hand. And
Yeah, for
you know,
sure, for sure.
yeah, so
It's totally hits different when you have something that you're
yeah,
kind of having in your hand.
exactly. And you said yes right away, so that's always awesome. So I'll always be appreciative of that. But yeah, so that was cool. Thanks for doing that. Let's get into the festivities. So let's talk a little bit about what happened this week. So first things first, Crave. So this was the Fresh Colorway Drop. 6 hats coming last Tuesday. Um, 6 different colorways. So I guess this is all like late night snacks, takeout stuff, and kind of like food inspired. But let's break it down. So we have, first things first, we got taco tacos, 2 cans, and rocket pops. What are your initial thoughts here?
I'm a sucker for like tans, so I like the taco tacos.
Hmm.
I like the colorway on that, and pink is hard to pull off. So the fact that I don't know, it looks pink to me.
Yeah, it's pink.
Yeah, so it's a good color combo. I like that design. It's clean. They're all good. I saw an embroidery of the toucans, and it looked like it was more vivid in person than what that image shows. So I think that's definitely one to miss, or could be missed as well. And then of course Rocket Pops is classic. It's like a Neapolitan color.
Yeah.
They're not bad at all.
Yeah. So the toucans, I just wish it just had a little bit more contrast instead of that like kind of that pebble-ish light gray on the outline. I wish
It looked blue, like it had like a baby blue on it, but I could be mistaken. I saw it on I think it was one of the BP Mercs posts. They had it, I believe, and up on the chest it had some light blue, but
yeah. The way I see it, it's a navy hat. It's got white in the fill, a little bit of like a tannish color, and then like a soft gray outline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then the Rocket Pops, that was the original. Originally, it was done in like that typical Rocket flavor, blue, white, pink, or blue, white, red. And then this one's like, yeah, like you mentioned, Neapolitan. So that's interesting. The one thing that bothered me about the Rocket Pop was that the popsicle stick is a little bit short. It just has a hefty person. Yeah, as a hefty person, I don't know if I could hold on to that little popsicle stick and have it all drip on my hands. But yeah, like I understand though, like you can't have it super long because then it just totally elongates the design and whatever. And we shouldn't pick apart stuff like that. But I mean, it's still a cool design. I mean, it's still a rocket.
Well.
Yeah, love it. That one sold. The first one sold like crazy, and it's had multiple iterations. I think like a watermelon alternate version, and maybe an X-ray one or like a neon red. I don't even remember.
I think there was a neon one a couple months back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm with you. The real winner here is Taco Tacos by Ian. Ian just has such cool like Asian themed Japanese designs all the time, and that one's really cool. Yeah. So those are those three, and then we got Fighting Slices, Neon Takeout, and Fire Starters. Do you have any initial thoughts here?
Orange is my favorite color, so I'm gonna go with Neon Takeout. And I tried to get it, and it was sold out, and I was heartbroken.
What size are you?
7 3/8.
3/8. Okay.
Yeah, I could use 7 1/4, but it's a little bit snugger than I like.
I can't help you out there.
Fire starters is good too.
Yeah,
they're all good. Not knocking anyone by any means, but I saw that Fire Starters originally when it came out was on that like floral hat.
Yeah, the floral pattern.
That's one thing I wish Clink would do is like bring back patterns or give us the opportunity to, because I think it's just wild the possibilities that we could do with that. But they're all good. The Fighting Slices, that's pretty good. I don't care for that colorway, me personally, but I don't know if I could, it would definitely be Neon Takeout.
Yeah. The problem with the patterns is I think New Air's taken away so many of the patterns and restricted them, and we won't get into too much of that, but for sure. So it's funny, your taste and my taste are pretty freaking close. So
nice.
My 2 picks from this drop, my actual 2 picks. One is Taco Tacos. So look at the embroidery on this thing.
That's smooth.
Yeah. Like I like the chunky, super thick. Look at the textures. All this stuff is raised at the bottom.
I like that.
Yeah. That pink under, tan, nice little solid hat. And then my other one.
Super jealous.
Yeah. Year of the Dragon, neon sign. Look at the embroidery on it. They killed this one.
That is so good. And that color, that orange is like, I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah, great hat. But yeah, so those are the ones that just dropped. Those are the ones that just dropped. So let's look at the last call. So these 6 the next 6 designs will cover all have their pre-orders ending at midnight tonight. So High Moon, Coal Mine Canaries, and the Reef Paradise. Any initial thoughts here?
They're all good. If I could, I would get all three. I like sea life, marine life a lot. I had a saltwater aquarium, so Reef Paradise sticks out to me. I know a lot about corals and fish, and I think that's pretty. I told you I'm a sucker for something that's different. So Coal Mine in the pinstripe, that's nice.
Yeah.
And then me liking the weird stuff, High Moon with the neon colors, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, the High Moon reminds me of that scene out of it wasn't Mandalorian, it was the other one, the Boba Fett, where they're like always fighting with that like space cowboy ranger guy.
I can't think of his name. Yeah, it's got like a Western feel to it as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it reminds me of. Coal Mine Canaries is cool too because it teaches you a little bit about carbon monoxide poisoning and all other things that happen in the coal mine where they used to keep the canaries. If the canary died, then you run.
That's crazy.
There's all sorts of like gases and toxic fumes down there when you're mining for coal. Wow. And then Reef Paradise, man, just a smooth hat. There's not much to it other than it just looks good. And
it looks good. I wish he'd break out of the circle. Like, I mean, I know that's his strength and he's good at it, but I think if he try like a different shape, like try a triangle or I don't know, it'd kind of be cool to see what he could do with like a square or a diamond. Just I don't know. I think he limits himself.
Yeah. What potentially what would you think of just like I don't even know if it embroidered properly or even if it's an option, but if you just did the whole thing, like just fill it. See how much embroidery you can get away with. Because like I always feel like he just like you said, you know, like I hate to see him just be limited by like a shape.
Yeah, like I think he's missing a lot of opportunity because like let's assume someone did go crazy, like did the whole panel. That's a perfect example of how to do it. You know, a coral reef, there's so much you could put like
negative,
shrimp, and there's a lot of possibilities that someone could do with that. And or even if they use like negative space.
Yeah, negative space. Yeah, just have the blue kind of fill it, or like the water kind of fill the spaces, but then just use certain shadows or whatever.
Yeah, that would look really cool.
Yeah, totally, Raphael. Take notes. Second thing is Sumo Kong, Katana, and Painter Kong. What do you think?
I like the Katana. I think the colorway is nice. It's different. Kind of like gives me tattoo vibes. So for me, that's one I'm drawn to.
Yeah, that one's badass. The look is cool. It's like a Hanya mask, but then it's a tiger, and it's a cool like pun. Yeah, I remember Rob Smid. This is his first design, so it's kind of cool to see him kind of jump in this world. He's kind of more known for like his pin work and a little bit of hats, so it's cool that he kind of jumped in. It's like a funky color too, like that purple and yellow. It's really different. It just feels different.
It's definitely different. And the only thing I wish is that the yellow on the paws and the feet weren't
different
like
color.
Yeah, because it kind of gets a little lost, but it's definitely different.
Yeah, and then Sumo Kong, that was right on the edge or right on the cusp of that whole AI controversy. I remember this one was unfortunately released right after that one, but it's still like a bitch in design.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that almost feels like a lifetime ago. Now that I think about it, the whole AI controversy, there was definitely interesting times in the Clinkverse, but
drama.
This one's kind of cool though.
It is cool.
I like it. The Obi-Wan and good idea, Ryan. Good to see him in here. I know Seamus speaks really highly of the Obi-Wan from the t-shirt world, and I know Steve's really been following his work and stuff. So COD speaks highly of him. So it's cool to see him in this world.
Nice.
Yeah, it's interesting too. It's like Sumo and Katana are almost like inverses of each other.
Yeah, I was just looking at that inverted colors there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Sumo Kong has a really good highlighted and low lights on it. The mountains in
Yeah.
the background. I could see it being really nice when it's
Well,
done.
red is such a contrasting color off the green too. It's such a pop, and same thing with the orange. The orange off the black really complements the green. I think like
Yeah.
anything super in that color range, red, orange, even yellow, like it just contrasts so hard with the green. I think it really provides for a big pop. So yeah, all awesome designs. Make sure you guys get your pre-orders in, and then for Shock Drop, the last of the Clink word marks are in, and this one is gonna be one that sells out real quick. So as of recording, this hasn't dropped yet, but as of you guys watching it, I'm sure it's already sold out. So this is a good one. So in hand.
Nice.
It's funny too. I was having a conversation with Casey, and I'm like, "This thing's gonna blow out, isn't it?"
Is it black or is it blue?
Navy. So it's kind of colored like a Yankee hat. So
I gotcha.
that Yankee navy, black eyelets, and the side patch. But he was saying how funny it is because he said he couldn't even give this hat away 3 years ago, and now people want it like crazy. So, go figure. I think. If you miss out on this, don't get too upset because there's different ones on the way and different variations. So, hopefully you score if you want it, and if not, keep an eye out for future release.
Cool.
But let's get into this part. So these 10 designs we will be covering will be going for Monday Morning Critz. So you'll get a little early look, and Levi and Win got together, and I made tie-dye. What do you think of this?
I like it. I think that pulling off that tie-dye print is crazy hard, and they nailed it. Not like the biggest fan on the colorway per se. Like it looks like a really bright, like fuchsia color. But it's nice. I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, I love tie-dye, and it's a good
pun.
Word. Yeah, good pun. Nice little wordplay. I'm into the Grim Reaper stuff, so give me more of that.
Me too.
Yeah, I love a good tie-dye hoodie, man. I almost have to get this as obligatory. I have like 5 tie-dye hoodies in my repertoire, so this is an insta-cop for me. This one's cool.
How do you think they're gonna embroider it? Like, how do you envision it?
I think it'll embroider fine. I mean, so they did it in a way that each color is bold enough and thick enough that it's gonna do well. So
like, you think it'll be like kind of flat, or do you think they'll like puff it up a little?
I kind of envision it kind of like this, where they have like the outline and then the bits of it. It may not be that thick for each individual line, but I kind of picture it like kind of super
look good.
Yeah, it's gonna turn out good.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I hope so, at least.
Right?
He's got like serial killer looks too, almost like a
kind of reminds me of like the Night Stalker a little bit. Maybe it's because of the sunglasses.
I was thinking a little bit of like Jeffrey Dahmer, maybe Unabomber, maybe like some
Unabomber, the hoodie.
Yeah, some type of like serial killer, but yeah, he's
works.
This is definitely a cool one. He's making like the hang tank, like the hang tan, whatever. Hand symbol almost.
Right.
I'd maybe correct that, but other than that, this thing's killer. Maybe buff up the outline a little bit, but this thing's cool.
Is the outline pink on that one?
Yeah, it looks like it's like a metallic iris kind of color, like a pearlescent kind of color, almost pink. It's a little bit lighter than like this kind of fill pink here, like wherever they used to fill it.
Yeah, that'll look nice.
Yeah, totally. All right. Aloha Love by Aurelian and Sun Lao. You have any thoughts here?
I like it. I think it's cute. Yeah, it's fun, and I like that series. Like, he could do that with every state damn near, and I don't know. It's cute. It's simple, but there's depth to the background with the mountain volcano thing back there and the subtle wave. I like it a lot. It's fun.
Yeah, my Cali Love just showed up, so it's cool to see this kind of series get extended, whether it's through
Mhm.
Aurelian or through Gemini. You saw Gemini go and extend it a little bit with Sierra with the Canada one, and then
Yeah,
Aurelian worked a little bit with Creature to do the
with
Cali one. So
Florida.
yeah, so
Yeah,
sorry, yeah, Florida. Yeah,
Florida. Yep.
yeah. The original one is the Cali one. Sorry.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's cool. Like this is like a concept that you could just apply to almost any place. You know, just
Yeah,
you get a couple symbols, you know, some plants and an animal. So he's yeah, this one's cool.
it's
Aloha
killing it.
love. All right, moving forward. Crowned
Oh, nice.
Calm. Oh, this is yours. Who
Yeah.
is EMS?
Oh, that's my wife.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, I don't know why it
Shout out
says
to the
GMS,
wifey.
but green mystic.
Okay, cool. Shout out to the wifey.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
tell me a little bit about this.
So yeah, this part of what I was talking about with the digitizing and learning depth is I wanted to try to do something that could show like so the way I envision is like the orange being kind of flat and then the black and the white parts being puffed. Um,
Okay.
and then the gray to me like so that's the thing I don't know like if it's metallic or gray. I just pick colors
Hmm.
and so I kind of wanted to show a little contrast and some shadowing to it. And so I think that it came out nice because it's modern and you can kind of see like he's got two sides to him. I try to make one like lively and then the other side, if you're looking at it, the side on the left that's white, I try to make
Yeah,
it like he's kind of fierce or mad. So I try
yeah,
to some dimension to it.
yeah. He's almost like a Terminator, almost like he's got a bit of like because of that
The
orange
eyes,
eye. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He's kind of like a T-2000. Is it like a robot chimp, or you know, maybe he's just really angry? But yeah, I kind of get like a little bit of like a Planet of the Apes kind of vibe to it. But it's yeah, it's really cool. It's interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
She came up with the idea of try like being Clink is the best and put a crown on him, and I didn't want to
mm,
do something gold or typical, so I try to play with it, and I don't see a lot of those colors being used, so try to just make it different.
yeah. Is that a graphite like dark gray crown you used, or
To me, it looks like it's I think it was like a graphite and then
yeah,
like a gray or silver
yeah,
color
yeah.
top. Yeah,
Rad, rad. Okay. Kind of block like a lot of shoes with almost that orange infraredish, like super bright,
yeah.
um, kind of pop colors. It's interesting. Yeah, this one's rad. I like it.
Thank you.
All right, let's see what else. Cataclysm. Seamus with his different big cat.
For
So
the big
what do you
cats.
think? Yeah, for the big cats out there. What do you think of this one?
I like it. I like the colorway a lot. It started out as a joke with him, and then it kind of evolved into like what it is now, obviously, and it's got depth. I like that there's not just one kind of cats, but you see a couple different ones in there, and kind of raising hell coming down at you. I like it a lot.
And he's got the circle. Got
He
the
did do
circles
the
on.
circle
Yeah,
with the animal and the paw coming out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like how some of it goes like behind the circle, out of it, and some go over it. Like it's real cool.
Hmm.
It's got the different, um, the little cats, and he's got the fire everywhere. Yeah, this one's rad. Uh, Graphite again, and it's like graphite week almost. Like almost like a rust. Yeah, this one's really
Yeah,
interesting.
like a rusty color. Oh, I thought the top part was like a dark green.
Nah, it's well, the crown itself is like a rust orange.
Hmm.
So it's all kind of like almost monochromatic in the sense that like there's
Nice.
a lot of yellows, reds, orange. Um, there's black in there too. I almost wish the tiger and that bobcat in the front had a little bit more expression, a little bit. If they're kind of just a little stoic and kind of just
Uh,
chilling there, almost happy.
maybe
The tiger almost
they
looks
need like
happy.
some teeth.
Yeah, make them growl a little bit. Like that's just me nitpicking a little bit, but This is still a rad design.
Very cool.
He kills it, man. He's the detail, the level of detail he kind of is able to pack in the design. I almost feel like this one is kind of toned down and simplified. It's like kind of like different than his regular.
I think because it's got outlines. We're not used to seeing him use like any outlines on his work.
Yeah,
really.
Right.
You see it on the flame and on the cats and so.
Yeah. Well, it could be his like evolution, as an artist trying out different stuff. So that's kind of awesome to see him kind of experiment, and we're all just like witnesses to his greatness. So yeah, man, Mike, keep killing it. Keep killing it. Grilled cheese. Matt Bell and J Trouble.
It's funny. I like the colors. I don't understand it, like me personally, like the pun or what it's supposed to be, but just looking at it's a funny image.
Yeah, I just think it's because of grills. So they've got the grills in the cheese, like the grilled cheese sandwich.
Okay.
There's a little pun there, and then like the cheese almost looks like it's gold. But yeah, I'm not huge on food hats, but this one's kind of interesting. It reminds me of those like old those wind up toys.
Exactly what I was thinking about. The little like shatter teeth.
Yeah.
How
do you feel about like the super thin outlines around the designs?
I don't know. I was always taught that they're not good, that they need to be thicker. So I mean, looking at it and from my own experience learning, I think it should be thicker, but I can also see like that's one thing I think people feel that Clink can't do thin lines, but you look at something like Catacombs, that's a lot of fine detail and thin lines, and it pulled off well.
Yeah, I think it just depends on how you want it to act. So like if you do a flat design with a super thick outline, I think it works. But if you do like a super thick outline with a thin outline around it, I think it kind of, so like this would be an example, like how the outline's thin, but it's kind of used to accent it.
Right.
Where that one, it has like thick brown and then the really chunky bread, and then the thin outline kind of goes around it. That one for sure wouldn't be raised, but at least it's just like a
just
like
gives
a
it
color
pop.
pop. Yeah, because without it, it would just get lost on that kind of wheat color crown. So, and it's interesting too because you got that chunky cheese.
Yeah, I was gonna say the cheese, like if that's puffed and stuff, like that'll come out pretty cool.
That's gonna be badass. Yeah, I think like the hat look and the design is way cooler than I think. Like you said, like I think the name and the pun is kind of missing the mark a little bit, but the actual like art is like really cool and really rad.
No, the art is solid. I personally didn't understand what the pun was, but no, the art is solid. I like it. It's got some shine to it. I could see it doing really well.
Yeah. Shout out to Matt and J Trouble, man. J Trouble's like a huge like Clink collector.
Okay.
So yeah. So he's teamed up with Matt, it looks like, on this one. So that's cool to see. People kind of coming together and making something cool. So yeah, shout out to, I believe it's Joey Greco, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to him. Yeah. Eagle Eye designs with Jake and Creature. So it looks like Jake is kind of back. This is like brings me back to like are you from Vegas or you just live in Vegas?
I live in Vegas. I'm from a place called Redlands, California, kind of by like San Bernardino.
Okay, but you've been around Vegas long enough. You remember that like Von Dutch Affliction?
Yes.
Ed Hardy era. Yeah, this reminds me of like the Von Dutch hat.
It's got that sailor tattoo vibe, and I like it. It's weird. So I mean, it works for me.
I almost want the separation of the talons to be more. Like it almost feels too close in the design, if that makes any sense. And you're so used to seeing the eagle's wings being white, right? Yeah. It's almost always white. So it's like kind of throwing me off a little bit.
I think it's just supposed to be like leaning back and like swooping the prey kind of a pose.
Yeah.
I'm shocked Donovan picked that yellow under visor.
The yellow under, right? Yeah. It's like a Tiffany green visor as well. I don't know. it's kind of cool. It's like blocked like the old Vancouver Grizzlies almost, with like that brown and mint color. I'm kind of weirded out that the veins don't go all the way around. Like it's right there. The art is cool. The imagery is cool. I just feel like the pose maybe needs a little work, or the colors need a little bit more.
Maybe it's the teal color.
Fine.
Like I like the teal
Yeah.
color, but maybe it would have been better if it was like a darker blue teal color. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah, I feel like the talons are rad, but it just kind of gets lost because like the outline of the talons is probably black, but then you can't really see it on a black hat. You know what I mean? So it's like you
Yeah.
almost don't get that definition. So for like half a second, like what the heck am I even looking at? Like it's drawn nice. I just feel like the pose is off a little bit. But yeah.
Oh no, I like it.
This one's rad. This one's rad
cool.
though. Yeah, it's right
Yeah.
there. All right, cool. What else we got? Sourpuss. Phil, who you brought up, and Rusty got together. This one's interesting.
That's awesome. For me, like it's got the gray. I like the grays. I like the tans. It's got orange, and then I could just picture that cat like like making a squeak, tasting it, and then shaking it off. It's fun.
Yeah, it feels like the master at just having so much character in a design. Like punching in. I don't even know how to describe it, but whatever he does, his characters always have so much character.
They do.
So much life to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. I like it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so like this is an example of super bold outline with that little nice kind of thing around it. I think when you embroider it, it's gonna have that extra level of pop.
Oh yeah. It'll look really nice.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Number 8, Sir Clinker by Rick Clifton.
I like this. It reminds me of like a flag print, like it being like on a castle flag, or the colors, like to me, the way I see it, like they kind of almost look pastel, and so it's subtle, and it works really nicely. And it's got that pencil. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's about to stab the dragon. I almost feel though, I like the subject matter. I almost don't like the fact that you see the bottom of the design almost, if that makes any sense. I almost wish he just had the dragon and just made it way bigger, and you just you wouldn't see the full body, if that makes any sense.
Oh like kind of like a weaving in and out type.
Yeah, just you could do that weave out effect, but just up the scale of the dragon by a lot.
At first I thought it was grass, so I didn't even realize it was a dragon until now. Not like coming off root or nothing. I just didn't see it.
Yeah, I almost like wish it just like he's just like in the battle of this dragon, and all you would see is like the bottom of it, and you would see like the cool details. Maybe have the head like real big, like above it, but he's just ready to stab it. Other than that, I think the subject matter is cool. I just think the scale of the dragon's a little bit off, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, compared to the horse, but I don't know. It's cool.
It's still a rad design, though.
It's like I said, I like that the colors aren't bright on it, because to me it gives like that vintage feel.
Yeah.
And then seeing the I don't know what you call it, squatchy or.
Well, yeah, people call it squatchy. Some people call it button. Whatever.
Yeah, seeing it a different color, I like when it's done like that, and it kind of gives me like an eraser feel.
So, yeah. That's oh yeah, that's cool.
So it kind of ties in nicely.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's an awesome little detail.
It works.
Yeah. He's like colored like the pencil too.
Very nice.
This is interesting. Yeah, it's like right out of like a book, like a fairy tale book.
Yeah. Very medieval.
Good job, Rick. All right, number 9, Bad Moon Rising by 14-8. I'm not too familiar with their work, but Bad Moon Rising. What do you think?
I like it. The less is more type approach, and the 2 colors being used, or I guess 3 if you count the black, but it's simple, but it's nice. It's got some drips.
Yeah.
I like the skull effect in there. I kind of wish it would glow. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I almost feel like it don't need the drips. You always got to be careful with white drips on anything.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, you just got real careful. I almost feel like you either can remove a lot of them and just have it just begin to drip. But yeah, it's like you said, less is more. There's a lot of negative space here. But when you really get this in hand, you'll really see the embroidery kind of shine through at this picture.
Oh yeah.
They're having a lot of textures within that kind of bone structure of the skull, and then the stars being super raised and stuff like that. But yeah, I think this has the makings of a good hat. I would just kind of tone down the.
It'd be kind of cool if it was like the full moon, and then the face, if they did like a glow effect, and you could see the skull, the glow without the drips. That would look really cool, and then still keep some of those stars.
You almost see like a face in the negative space of the skull, so it'd be cool. Like if they,
it almost looks like kissing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost looks like like a silhouette of someone. It's interesting. It's really rad. I can't get past the kind of the drips there, but other than that, I think it's
at least they're like just smooth drips, and they're not like the wavy 90s kind of spray paint.
Yeah. Right. I think that's kind of the effect they want, like the wet paint kind of look almost. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool design.
Pretty cool.
All right. Last but not least, we're going with the Tropical Punch. So Seamus looks like he's here twice. So not so original, and Michael, aka Seamus, the skunk. What do you think here?
Gives me those like vibes of the little dashboard.
The little dashboard things.
Yeah.
The hula. Yeah.
I like it. I think the undervisor being lime green, I think it should have been like red. But I like it. I think it's cool. It's cute. It's fun. It's it's subtle.
When I have such a crazy like top of a hat, I almost would want it just to be boring and gray underneath, just to kind of tone it down a little bit. But the subject matter is cool. I think it's an elite pun. She's throwing a jab and not really a haymaker. I almost would rather her throw a haymaker, but I get it. Like it's kind of the same pose as like the shaky dashboard thing. So that's kind of cool. It's
got great.
Yeah, it's elite. It's elite though. That's good form right there for a jab. So
definitely good shadows on it. I like that a lot.
Yeah, he's an elite artist.
Amazing.
And then just being able to like make her look like it's such a small face when you really break it down, but he did it such a good job of
the detail,
giving her so much character. Yeah. This is rad.
Very cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. Well, that's the 10, and that was a fun. That was a fun little ride, nice and quick. About an hour, one shot. We didn't have to do any cuts.
Right.
But well-behaved dogs. That's usually a reflection of good owners. So good on you. But yeah, this was fun to chop it up, to kind of know you on a little bit of a more personal level.
Thank you.
And just keep at it. I love to see the growth and the enthusiasm and kind of that perseverance. I think that's a good lesson for people to learn. So
thank you. I appreciate it. It's been fun and very honored to be on the show, and look forward to more opportunities. So
get back here soon. But until next time, Heather and Leon, we out of here.
Later.
Peace.
Can stand with us. Your man can't even fan the dust, let alone shake a can with us. In the brand, be a king or master, maybe your grace. Clink and merch, the kings, we own in first place.